Today, the Jacksonville Veterans Memorial Arena made history by hosting the National Curling Championships. Curling is played on pebble-textured ice with a stone, broom, and excessive yelling. At the arena, the ice masters spray hot water across the surface to bubble the ice, making a specific bumpy texture. The stone is polished granite, and the broom can either be made of horsehair or something smoother. Reporter Ashley Miller is here with the story, Curling 101.
Curling is a common Midwest sport that is played on sheets of ice.
For a long time, the Midwest has dominated curling. It's really big out there. There's more curling clubs in one district, in one county of Wisconsin than there are in the entire state of Pennsylvania.
Many of the athletes started curling because of their family. They grew up around the sport and were thrown into it starting at a young age. Cody Clouser said one of his earliest memories was being pushed around while sitting on the rock. Family fostered a love for curling in most of the players in the tournament. The players range from teenagers to adults in their 40s to 50s. Several athletes performing this week are former Olympians. Even though they are Olympians, they don't get paid as well as other sports. Curling is limited on funding, so athletes collect sponsorships for themselves.
It's funny because you still have to, when people say, what are you going to Jacksonville for? I say, do you know what curling is? Like, that's how it has to be my I can't just say curling because people are like, you know, sometimes we get the, oh, are you the, you know, the sweeper? And so it's...
Or they think we're weightlifters.
Yeah, like, don't we look like weightlifters?
So they aren't weightlifters, but what exactly is curling?
We use a rock. It's a polished piece of granite that's 42 pounds. So each team throws 8 rocks, and they alternate as the end moves, as the end progresses. And an end is like an inning. And in this competition, we'll be playing 10 end games.
To prepare for these competitions, athletes practice constantly. There are away games 2 weekends of the month, and the other weekends consist of practicing and, of course, hitting the gym. Persinger says there are countless hours spent at the gym, and Roth says sports psychology is a big part of their regimen as well.
So you think curling is easy? Think again. There are 2 main jobs for an athlete during a curling match. One is sweeping.
Sweeping does a lot of different things. One thing it does if you're trying to make the rock stop in the rings, which is called a draw, and it's slowing down. Sweeping it will help sustain its energy longer, so it may kind of bring it further than you would hope to get it if you didn't sweep it. And it also keeps the rock straighter. If it's curling more than you want it to and you need it to kind of hold the line, you can sweep and it'll hold it straight.
The other is delivering the stone, or tossing the rock.
So most people like throwing better, I'd say, because it's really fun. You get to like throw the shot, you get to make the shot. Sweeping is kind of supplemental to throwing the rock.
However, athletes don't just focus on one aspect of the sport. They have to be able to execute all parts of curling in proper form. The form is hard to master, but easy to try, especially at the arena. Aside from the 6 sheets of playing ice, behind the field is home to a Learn to Curl area for all ages to try out the sport. And it isn't as easy as it seems.
It's never too late to start. It's a great time. They have Learn to Curls here. You can always learn to curl.
It's a lifetime sport. I
Yeah.
know people who are 80 and play with their 8-year-old grandkids, and they pick it up when they're 60. You can always play curling. It's just a sport that I think people don't understand. Whenever we bring people out to learn the curls or rentals where they have groups coming in who don't curl, they always love it. Give them a little bit of instruction, give them a chance to try it, and they love curling. So I think it's just a sport that people don't know the rules to and how it's played and all the benefits of being a part of the community and playing it.
Several of the athletes would like to see more TV coverage of curling. Roth says NBC began covering more games last year. This helps to showcase the sport to the U.S., since there is a big fan base, especially in the Midwest. Clausen and Clouser say curling is a different sport that takes so much time and dedication to perfect. Persinger believes when people actually know about the sport, it makes athletes more excited for their achievements.
But yeah, I think definitely like getting the knowledge out there, and it's funny because when you do tell people sometimes that you're a curler, they're like, I watched that on the Olympics, and it's like, it's cool how excited they get to like get into something different and just realize how unique the sport is.
What a successful week of curling for Jacksonville. The city hopes to be able to host more events in the future. In fact, the Jacksonville Arena is in the process of putting a bid for the 2018 U.S. Olympic team trials. Better get to working on that ice. To stay involved in all things curling, visit usacurl.org.
Opa! St. John the Divine Greek Orthodox Church wants the Jacksonville community to know a little bit more about who they are, and what better way to do it than hosting a day of fun. The Jacksonville Greek Festival isn't your typical event, but it's one that brings the community together while experiencing the Greek culture.
The Morocco Shrine Center for the 3-day festival as people experienced a different culture. From costumes to dancing and food, this unique experience, one like none other.
A Greek festival, and this Greek festival, like most around the country, is a celebration of Greek culture by celebrating and sharing our food and our music and dancing with other people who may not be familiar with it. I can tell you on average every day it's about 1,000 people. The largest Greek event that we have here, it's sponsored by our church, and so it is probably the next largest one would be Orlando or Daytona.
This festival is an annual event, but after 2 decades, in the year 2002, it stopped. The Jacksonville community looked forward to this event and wished it would someday return.
So last year was the re-inauguration of the Greek Festival, and this is our second one that we've had since 2015. We love to eat, and sharing that food with everybody who's never had it before is really a lot of fun.
The gyro today, so it was pretty good. I liked it. The gyro is okay. I mean, I think it's just like pita bread and steak, and they had this sauce that started with a T. I forget what it's called, but yeah, and then some tomatoes and lettuce, and so it was pretty good. I liked it.
A day full of Greek culture. That it is, with unique foods such as gyros, Greek soup, and figs. Entertainment is the only way to top it all off. A live band played the tunes, and people couldn't help but join in and dance.
Of course, the dancing and watching the young people and even the adults in traditional costumes from around Greece performing dances from all around the Greek country is a lot of fun, and it's very, very exciting to share.
I really enjoyed the music. When I was in there, they had live music playing, and then there's like kids and grown-ups just dancing. I guess they were doing like a traditional line dance or something, but that was really enjoyable to watch. So I think we should have a lot more things like that.
If you missed this year's event, don't worry. It'll be back next year, and we've been told it's going to be bigger and even better. More food, costumes, dancing, music, and perhaps a special musical guest. But most importantly, more fun. For more information, you may visit www.jacksgreekfest.com.
Jacksonville, Florida has its fair share of sporting events, but the Southeastern Conference Women's Basketball Tournament is in search for a permanent home, and our city is in the running. Our Raleigh Harbin on Jacksonville's chances of landing the event for years to come.
Jacksonville plays host to numerous sports events throughout the year, but this year is special, as the city has a chance of becoming the permanent home for the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament. Alan Verlander, COO of Jacksonville Sports Council, is doing everything he can to help make it an easy decision for the Southeastern Conference.
And then really what they want to do, very similar to what they've done with the men's tournament, is they want to make a permanent home for the ladies. And we have said, listen, we want to host your championships. The women's basketball tournament is very important to Jacksonville, Florida, and so we want to make sure that you know, if you want to award that for 5 years, 10 years, whatever awarding you want to do, Jacksonville, Florida wants.
Verlander says Jacksonville was awarded the tournament in 2014, but the SEC has yet to announce where it will land next year. As for making Jacksonville's case for the tournament, there's at least one advantage over other cities.
And you know, this weather is perfect. Last year was in Little Rock. There was snow all over the ground. It was very disruptive to the teams. This year, it's going to be beautiful.
But weather isn't everything. The council still has multiple responsibilities, and the SEC watches how those are handled.
You know, these are massive events that have a lot of moving parts. You got to get 14 teams in here. You got to get game officials in here. You got to get staffing in here. Hotels, making sure they understand what their role is. Restaurants, arena. So, you know, a lot of those meetings you can't just have in 1 week. You got to plan those accordingly.
According to Alabama head coach Christy Curry, coaches and players on each team are here for one reason: to win basketball games and move on to the next round.
Our focus is the next game, and it's we wish we had more time to sightsee, but it's more down to business when you come on a trip. It's a business trip.
Curry sees the beauty Jacksonville has to offer the SEC fan base and has taken notice.
I know our experience here in Jacksonville so far has been incredible. Wonderful weather. It's a beautiful area, and the folks at our hotel, from the minute we get off the bus here at the arena, have just been very hospitable.
According to Verlander, the city isn't just vying to host the tournament to bring attention to the city. There are economic benefits on the line if the SEC chooses Jacksonville as the destination.
The city, first off, it's a major economic impact for our city. You're talking about bringing in $7 to $10 million into our economy over the span of this week. And so from an economic standpoint, it's big. But then I think you've got every game on national television. Plus the finals are on the mothership ESPN, so the exposure for Jacksonville will be great.
As for the players, there's a good chance they won't be able to make it out to the beach during the week between practices and games. But Alabama senior forward Nikki Hegstetter says her family will make it out to watch her play, and her family will indeed enjoy the sights and sounds of our city.
I guess it could create a home court advantage if it's within a proximity of your college. But this is close enough for our family to come. My whole family's coming. A lot of my extended family lives here, so I just enjoy that they're able to come and they're able to watch.
Verlander hopes that the event will run smoothly from the top down and that any problems that may arise will be taken care of swiftly to create the best experience for players, coaches, and fans.
Well, I think our biggest stamp of approval is going to be how we run this tournament this week. If we weren't able to do a good job, then if I'm the SEC, I'm going to look and go, I'm not going to bring it back to you. But I fully anticipate that we'll do a great job.
If the event is well run, expect the SEC women's basketball tournament to return every year, just before March Madness begins.
Thanks for that, Raleigh. Jacksonville's chances could be better than you think because Verlander and SEC Associate Commissioner Tiffany Daniels are old friends, and that's what got the conversation going about the tournament coming to our city in the first place. Check back for updates on future tournament locations and see if our city wins the bid.
Twice a year, the city of Jacksonville brings in home specialists to help host the Jacksonville Home and Patio Show in an effort to share the city's more creative side.
A lot of people around here refer to this event as Pinterest in real life.
Home shows are so important for every home buyer and homeowner out there. It's a place for you to actually start to imagine what your space looks like with samples and visuals and true experts to help you.
The Jacksonville Home and Patio Show has such a great turnout every year simply because it's just so exciting. Professionals and newcomers alike just can't seem to get enough.
The Home and Patio Show is so important to us. The amount of leads that we get from the event, we see those customers usually for the next 2 years.
Oh, I think it's the perfect place to be if you're trying to tackle a big job like your house or your kitchen or any actual space in your home.
It's more than just home and patio. I mean, there's other auxiliaries, there's other things.
Always feels amazing when people get to walk past and they're in awe. So it's almost like maybe I could refer to it as the future Pinterest, the ideas that are to come.
And what great ideas they are. Attending professionals at this year's Home and Patio Show cannot seem to express how important it is for new home buyers to show up to events like this.
I think if you've never been to a home show, it's like the candy store for a kid. I mean, kids' candy stores, adults' home shows, same thing. People are constantly inspired by HGTV, and that same inspiration is what they bring to these shows. They want to learn, they want to see, they want to touch, they want to feel, and really be inspired to start their own projects.
The Home and Patio Show is quite the experience. All the vendors and all the companies really do bring fun ideas to life in front of you.
If you happen to miss this spring's Home and Patio Show, be sure to catch the next show later this fall. Check out JacksonvilleSpringHomeshow.com for more information on the next upcoming event.